CJ, we're just going to let these guys, rather than me call on them, I would like you guys just to identify yourselves, just so CJ can get a better, hear and see from each of you. But we're just going to open up the floor. I'll kind of moderate it a little bit, but we'll open it up with Dave Biddle from 24/7 Sports. But then after that, you guys can just ask questions.
Hi, CJ. Dave Biddle from 24/7 Sports. You guys number one offense in the country. You're a Heisman finalist. What do you guys need to get even better at next year, going into next season?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank God. I mean, this stuff is crazy. Just like thinking about it as a kid, just playing at Ohio State, having this opportunity to be a Heisman finalist, I just have to thank God and give Him the glory and the praise. But yeah, it's a lot of great things that we did this season. Definitely a lot of things that we want back, and we want to, of course, in the season right with the Rose Bowl. But yeah, the offense we to get better next year. I mean, I just feel like we just need to execute better in the red zone, be better, more efficient down there. I feel like we move the ball pretty well up and down the field, but just finishing drives with touchdowns and not just field goals.
Coach Day had said entering the year, the expectations for the starting quarterback at Ohio State is to be the quarterback of the year in the Big Ten, be a Heisman finalist, and you've achieved those things. Is this kind of what you expected as well?
I mean, I really don't try to like coming into the season. I didn't really have any expectations. I kind of just wanted to play well and win games really. And I feel like if you do those things, especially having teammates that I have, I mean, there's definitely possibility to be a Heisman finalist or be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. So, I mean, I'm truly blessed to even be honored to have them opportunities. So.
CJ, Austin Ward from Lettermen Row. What do you think, as you reflect on this year and those 11 games, what did you learn the most about playing quarterback position over this year?
I mean, I really feel like I didn't really learn anything new. I mean, I've been playing football for a long time, but I think it's just like handling things off the field better. With like, of course, you guys, media, handling like first time ever having like supporters outside of just like my high school, so like real life fans of like just not me but Ohio State. So it's like my first time dealing with like big time of that. So I mean, really nothing really on the field too much. I mean, I feel like football as a sport doesn't really change, but definitely you just have to learn scheming, and I feel like my coaches did a great job with helping me learn ever since the first day I got here and teaching me. So nothing really changed on the field for me, I guess. I just more off the field.
So how are you dealing with the off-the-field stuff differently? I mean, I'm sure that's to be thrust into it and playing in front of 100,000 and millions watching every week. I'm sure that's a different experience. It's got to be tough to learn how to handle all that.
Yeah, for me it was fun. Like even through like the negativity that I got earlier in the year, even now, I mean, I just kind of think it's fun. Like the people are talking about me, like you know what I mean. So I really don't. I try to stay even keel as possible. Not ride the highs, ride the lows. Just stay as even keel. And I feel like that's probably the main thing I learned this year was just right. Like whatever happens, you kind of just got to just live life. You know what I mean, and not really worry about it. Because at the end of the day, it's just football. But I mean, we care about this sport so much, and people care about it so much. So it's definitely a responsibility.
How much did that negativity get to you in September?
I really didn't care, honestly. Like my coaches were happy with how I played. My teammates were happy how I played. Chris was happy. Garrett was happy. Jackson was happy. So I mean, I didn't really care. It was like people are gonna talk regardless, good or bad. So I mean, you might as well just do you and remain faithful to God. So.
CJ, Tim May, Lettermen Row. Excuse me. It was a slip. Not as bad as you think, though. Could have said anything there after Columbus. You ever been to New York City? What do you want to see? I mean, what's just standing out for you? But anticipation of this trip, eagerness of this trip.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never been to New York. We went to Jersey when we went to play Rutgers, but that was like the closest I've seen New York. So I'm really excited. Never been before. I mean, I'm a West Coast guy, so I don't know how I'm gonna deal. I know it's cold out here, but I heard New York's a little colder. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Definitely want to meet the other finalists. I know my boy Bryce is also there too, and I'm super proud of him and the growth he's had this year. He went crazy last game. I'm super happy for him. Happy for every other finalist. So I mean, definitely great players to be around, and definitely I feel like I have to hold my own and represent Ohio, represent Columbus, represent my teammates, represent my coaches, and definitely representing back home, back in Cali. So just excited to represent my whole life.
How cool is it, though, how far you've come from this time a year ago when you're getting ready to compete for the starting job, vacancy coming, to be sitting here right now being a Heisman finalist? How cool is that, for want of another term?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a blessing, man. I I think ever since I've been a little kid, like really since I can remember, I grew up loving basketball, but football was also a love of mine, and I never really knew it would be this. Honestly, like I always kind of like worked for it and had the thought in my mind. I kind of always put my best foot forward, but I never really knew it would be like this. So I mean, I'm just truly blessed, and I'm blessed to be around these great people. I think that's the biggest thing. It's not even like the awards or anything like that. It's just being around great people on a daily basis. I love my teammates to death, and just like without them, I wouldn't even be here. So.
Hey CJ, Colin Gay, Rivals. I was curious, the prime of your recruitment to come to Ohio State was kind of in that middle of when, say, Dwayne was a Heisman finalist, Justin was a Heisman finalist, and I'm wondering, was that something that the coaches brought up to you to kind of get you to want to come to Ohio State? Were bringing up kind of the success of Dwayne or Justin in that span, or what did that look like for you as you were deciding to come to Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, even if I don't honestly remember talking about it with either of the coaches, but I mean, honestly, you just see it. You know what I mean? So I mean, you seen Dwayne, you see him do what he's doing when he was here. You seen Justin what he did when he was here, and then I got to witness it my last year. So, and you definitely want to picture yourself in those shoes. But I feel like just being a competitor, you have to go do it yourself. You know what I mean? You can't just ride people's like roller coaster. You can't really ride their coattails. So that's something I try to do is pave my own way, just be myself, play my way. You know what I'm saying? Not try to be like Justin or Dwayne, but still learn from those guys, learn from their successes and learn from their mistakes. So I think those are all things that I took into consideration to come here and then do what I'm doing now.
You kind of already mentioned this a little bit, but I mean, was it a combination of, say, you know, what Ryan did to help you kind of develop what he helped those quarterbacks to develop? I mean, did you see a path to a Heisman finalist? Like, I mean, maybe not in your first year, but in your time at Ohio State, was that a clear path to you? And
yeah, I mean, it's a goal. I really, like I said earlier, I really don't try to worry about accolades or like awards or anything like that, because if you do that, you're not really focused on winning, if you ask me. So my main goal is just to win. And I feel like when you're doing that, people kind of take notice, especially at a school like this. They're going to take notice regardless if you're just playing well. So, I mean, when you're winning, you're playing well. So I think those are the things I try to focus on. And, yeah, it kind of just took care of itself, by the glory of God.
Hey, Justin with MEC4 in Columbus. I guess we're talking about dreaming. Did you ever get a chance to play in the Rose Bowl? And if you hadn't, was that a dream of yours to get to play in a game like that in a stadium like that?
Yeah, I mean, growing up back home in California, being a full-fledged Cali guy, born and raised there. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely a blessing to be able to play in this game. I'm definitely excited, and of course, it's not where we want to be, but it's where we're at, and I'm super excited for that. Gonna try to go out the right way, you know what I mean, and just have fun back home and just have fun with the game.
You're gonna get to see your family a little bit. They're gonna go to the game, anything like that?
Yeah, they come to every game, so I mean, I'll probably have a couple more people come, like some cousins, some family, or some homies from back home. So definitely some other people that can't make it all the way out to Ohio, which is really cool.
Hey, CJ, Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch. Did you ever go to a Rose Bowl game growing up, or like had you ever been to the stadium at all?
Yeah, I went to a whole bunch of UCLA games growing up. I was getting recruited by them a little bit coming out of high school, so I went to a couple of those games, and it's a little more big time than the UCLA games. I feel like the Rose Bowl would be probably a little louder, a little more people. So I don't know. It's probably a little different atmosphere, I'm guessing, especially with not just it being UCLA, being the actual Rose Bowl. So I'm excited.
Do you have a favorite memory of like watching the Rose Bowl on TV, or like any like game that comes to mind that you watched as a kid?
I remember watching the Penn State USC game, like when Juju Smith was there, Sam Darnold. I think it went to like overtime, and it was just a good game to watch. I don't remember like the details of it, but I remember that game.
Nathan Baird from Cleveland.com. Looking back on the Michigan game, what's maybe the biggest lesson you took out of that experience?
Honestly, just a lot of things. It's hard to win on the road, and then on top of that, it's a rivalry. It's cold. It's snowing. It's a lot of things you can learn from. I don't know. It's a lot of things you can watch film on, and they did a good job of scheming us up and doing some good things, especially on the defensive side of the ball with their D-line. So, I mean, definitely some things you always want back, but I feel like when it comes down to it, I gave it my all in that game. I I don't have any regrets. I didn't cut any corners. I watched everything of film I could possibly watch and did everything I possibly could. So sometimes you just come up short. It's really just that simple, and it sucks to it be that game and everything on the line. But honestly, I feel like as a whole, we didn't cut any corners. It kind of just happened. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Switching gears a little bit, how surprised were you that Quinn Ewers decided to leave, and any communication that you had with him as to what led up to that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. That's still my brother. Still my little bro. I still love him. To me, he's gonna be a good football player whenever he goes. So I'm rooting for him. I didn't know he was leaving, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you got to do what's best for you, and I feel like that's what he's probably doing. So, I mean, I'm behind him 100%. I don't really know too much about the situation. I'm not sure.
But you're sitting in that room now, and there's 2 empty chairs, so to speak, guys who've gone into the portal. What does that tell you about college football right now, CJ? I mean,
I'm not sure. I'll try to stay in my lane, man. You know what I mean? So, I mean, whatever they got going on, Jack and Quinn will be my brothers for life. I mean, we built a bond over these last couple. Quinn only months, but Jack been Jack for 2 years. So I mean, you build a brotherhood, you build a real friendship. So I mean, wherever he goes and play, I'm probably gonna go watch him. You know what I mean? So I just try to stay in my lane. You know what I mean?
Have you made your pitch to Chris and Garrett to play in the Rose Bowl yet?
I mean, I told them do whatever is best for you. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever they decide to do, I'm behind them. You know what I mean? Because in this sport, in this life, in this college football world, a lot of people do what's best for them. So you kind of got to do what's best for you. Just even if it might look as a selfish situation, but those guys gave everything to Ohio State. Like, I've never seen them make a selfish decision. So if they don't play, then it's probably a benefit to them, and I fully respect it. You know what I mean? So then it's time the guys to step up for next year. You know what I mean? And just get their feet wet.
Yeah. Have you seen some signs that Julian or Marvin, Mecca, maybe if he's healthy again, could just step into that role? Or
Yeah, I mean, everybody will be fine. I mean, even if my boy Sam Wiggs got to play, I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we just got to go win a game. So it's not going to be easy. Utah's a hell of a team. They do a lot of good things, and definitely not taking them lightly at all. So I don't know. I feel like whoever has to step up will, if that needs to be.
CJ, Dan Hill from the 11 Warriors. You're the third quarterback in a row here at Ohio State to be a Heisman finalist after your first year as a starter. What do you think it is about what Ryan Day's built here that allows you guys to come in as a first-year starter and have this much success?
I would say just like the transparency with the offense. I mean, it's definitely not one of those things that's easy to learn, but once you get a grasp on it, and you kind of start thinking like how the coaches do, and Coach Wilson, Coach Day, and you kind of like have the same verbiage and language. I mean, all those things, of course, in the offseason matter too. So I don't know. It's kind of just like one of those things. If you can get rolling as an offense, and then you kind of just gain the trust of your coaches. So I feel like that's what I did, just for me to be able to have this opportunity my first year playing. So they did a great job with just helping me game plan and stuff like that. And I did a lot of things on my own to hold on my end of the bargain. You know what I mean? So it's not just one of those things you just pray for. You got to go out there and do it. So, I mean, those guys, my coaches did a great job. Of course, having great players around me, like my receivers, my running backs, my tight ends, my O-line, they definitely help as well. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be here without them. So.
CJ, Doug Landry from Cleveland.com. You talked about how for the Michigan game you watched every bit of film you could possibly watch. For a young quarterback, you just seem to show a really good understanding of the game this year. Can you just maybe take us through that process? Not like every minute of it, but how did you prepare for games this year, and how did you feel like your understanding of the Ohio State offense, what defenses were trying to do to you, how did that grow throughout the year?
Yeah, so I don't know, like with the offense, how I try to base it is just, okay, what am I getting this week? Am I getting a 4 down, 3 down? Am I getting twists? So I always start kind of with the front, trying to like learn my protection, because I feel like it's most important is learning protection and protecting yourself. You know what I mean? I don't want to get hit hard by those big ass dudes. So I mean, excuse my language, I'm sorry. I don't want to get hit by those big dudes. So I mean, I try to first start with the line, see what they're doing. Then I go to the roof, which is the safeties, and I try to figure out if they're a 1-high, 2-high structure team. Try to see if they're a fire zone team or they're a drop 8 team. And then after that, I kind of go to the linebackers, trying to watch depth of the corners, leverage, and see how each corner plays, see how the safeties play. And then after that, I kind of watch system of defense and watch like past years, and then I'll go to like third down, red zone. So it's like different like steps I take throughout the week. And after the game on Saturday, I always go back, and that Saturday I'll watch our film of that game, and then I'll go and watch the next team's film that same Saturday, watch it again Sunday, and then try to really grasp it on Monday. So on Tuesday I'm ready to practice. I don't know. It's a lot of things that I try to do. With that game, I tried to watch everything I can possibly watch. I watched like some Ravens film. Their defense coordinator came from the Ravens, so I watched some of that. There's a lot of things that I try to watch. Sometimes you can overwhelm yourself, though, so you have to be careful with watching too much, because I think that you just got to go play. And really, everything that they did, we kind of knew that it was coming. Not knew it was coming, but I kind of seen it. I think I picked it up pretty well. I mean, of course, we had some communication issues at the line, which didn't help with like penalties and losing downs. So I mean, it's just I try to do my best to just prepare.
And you can see a guy's arm strength. You can see if he's mobile and can run around. But it feels like you do have a lot of mental capacity for the game here. Again, that you showed that a lot this year. How did you develop that skill as a young quarterback, and is it something, I don't know, did you work on it a lot in high school? Have you always had an aptitude for it? Did it really grow here? How have you learned the game as well as you have so far?
Honestly, I've had great coaches ever since I've been like 5 years old. I mean, of course, like when you're that young, you're not running like to Tampa Fire Zone or nothing like that. Like, it's not anything to that like type of nature, but I mean, they did a great job with kind of like learning. Like, that's how I kind of learned how to be under center with backfield action. I feel like I do a good job under center because a lot of offenses aren't under center as much as we are. It's a lot of things that kind of play into like I feel like my mental aspect. I'm not sure. I think it's a God-given talent. I think God kind of blessed me with like the nature because I don't know. I'm not crazy book smart, but I'm kind of smart when it comes to school. I try to do my best. I think that has to do with like effort and things like that. But like I feel like with kind of football, you either get it or you don't. You know what I mean? So I think one of those things God just wanted me to have, to be able to be smart, to lead. I feel like that has to do with a lot of my leadership of the offense. I mean, when I first came in, like I remember me and Chris and like Garrett were throwing. This is like my first time ever throwing to them. Like, and I was kind of like wowing them, like kind of like because I already had watched film on like the year previous, and I knew plays, and no one. It's like my second day here, and I knew plays before anybody can even teach me. So I think like things like that, you kind of just like can control the room or control your offense, control your O-line. And I think like when it came down to those tough moments in games, like dudes actually like remember those things, and they kind of look at me like, okay, CJ knows what he's doing. I can trust him. You know what I mean? So I think just the mental aspect of the game really has to do with just I think my God will give me the ability to learn, putting me around great people. So I think that has to do a lot of it.
Apologize.
You're fine.
When you do something like I learned the plays before I even got here to throw with Chris on day 2, you knew plays, or that the way you talked about digging in, you're looking at Ravens film. Do you do that because you think it's fun, because you like that kind of thing, or do you just do that because you tell yourself, if I want to be great, I got to put in extra work like that?
A little bit of everything. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's a fear of mine, but it's a worry of mine to not do enough. You know what I mean? Because it's the worst feeling in the world to have regret. You know what I mean? And so I feel like, thank you, Jerry. And I feel like when I approach anything in life, I'm gonna do it 100%. Like I often look at somebody who's from my home is Nipsey Hussle, and like he has a lot of great quotes out there. But he always talks about like if you're gonna do something, you got to do it 100%, or you really don't care about it. You really don't want to be great. You know what I mean? So even since I've been a kid, like I don't know why. I guess God made me like this, but I've kind of been like kind of crazy to people. Like people kind of look at me strange when it comes to like certain things about life. Because if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna do it 100%. So even when it comes to my faith, even though I'm not perfect, I try to go 100%. Football, even when I play basketball, like trying to be a good son, I'm gonna try to go 100%. So I'm not sure why. I honestly don't. I don't have like an exact answer. I would say God kind of just gave me that blessing, and sometimes it's a curse too. But I don't know.
You mentioned your motivation for Rose Bowl being back in California. Why should other guys have similar motivation, given, as you said, this wasn't where you guys hoped to be initially?
I feel like it's the right thing to do, especially leave the seniors out with a win. Definitely a big-time game anyways, you know what I mean? So just being a competitor, like, at this level, if you don't want to play, like, I don't know why you're on this team, you know what I mean? So no one on my team is like that, though, thank God. So I don't really question anybody's kind of, like, willing to play, except for, like, of course, the guys who are going to the league next year, which I totally understand. So, I mean, we have a great attitude. I mean, dudes are showing up to our workouts, killing it, running hard, lifting hard. So, I mean, we're throwing as well. So, I mean, we're doing the little things, which I feel will turn into big things.
This is always an important time of year for young guys. You didn't really get that last year, but how have you seen some of the younger guys kind of take, I know you haven't really started practice yet, but kind of take this time to shine, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like last year was my time was during, like, the scout periods and trying to show them, like, what I can do. And I feel like that had to do with coming into this year, like, with play calling and like things like that. You kind of can see, the coaches can see what you like and what you don't like, even off a scout basis. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of dudes are starting to do really well in scout. And they're showing, like, okay, I can play next year. So I think that's a big thing for our program.
You talked about y'all's willingness and people wanting to go out there and play and stuff. I think y'all are smart enough to be hearing the narrative that's going on about this game, that nationally that you guys got shoved around, especially in the second half at Michigan physically, and that Utah's this physical team. Are you guys up to that physical test? Just have y'all talked about that a little bit, about what people are saying about y'all coming out of that Michigan game, and how does that motivate you, I guess?
I mean, I don't know. I'm logged at everything. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, y'all want to talk about physicality. I don't think there's any team more physical than us. Of course, in those games, I'm not in the trenches, so I don't know. I'm not looking down there. You know what I mean? But my guys did as best they could at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just fall short, and of course you don't want it to be that game, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You kind of just gotta get better from it. So I don't know what the narrative is, and I'm not trying to set the narrative. I just know that when it comes down to playing football, I'll take Ohio State. You know what I mean? Against any team, and then like college football is a weird year this year. You know what I mean? Like we lost 2 games, and those 2 games, I don't think neither of those teams are better than us, but like you got to give them respect. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's not about who's the better team. It's about who plays better that day. And when you take in consideration like what we're going through that week, preparing for the team up north and everybody kind of having the flu and things like that. Of course, I don't make excuses, but you got to kind of take that into consideration. It kind of does matter. You know what I mean? So I'll take Ohio State. I'll take my brothers against anybody.
Not giving a pitch to these guys and then doing what's best for them, but what would it mean for you to be able to throw the ball to Chris and Garrett again in a game before they hit the NFL?
Yeah, I told Gary yesterday I was messing with him. I told him, man, I don't want to play with anybody but you, but I told him to do what's best for him. I don't really, I don't have the say-so in that. I mean, that's up to him and his family and what he wants to do. So, of course, I want to play with my brothers again and end it the right way. So, I don't know, that's kind of my thing.
And you've seen some of the seniors and what they've given the last couple of years and had to go through last year with the virus and everything. What would it mean for you to, as a quarterback, be able to send them out with a win before they head to the NFL as seniors?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, this is not a little time game. This is a big time game. So it's definitely something that I want to do. Of course, I wanted to come here and win the national championship, but I feel like this is second to that. So I gotta kind of just do it. You know what I mean?
Couple more minutes, guys. Go ahead.
You mentioned a minute ago just about how guys were sick during the Michigan game, and we talked with Ryan earlier this week, and he mentioned it was kind of significant. Just from your vantage point, how sick were some of your teammates, and just how much did it impact the game against Michigan?
Yeah, it was bad. Like we already knew like throughout the week, like dudes are like dropping out, missing practice. And I don't know. It was kind of bad. It was just like it was just a feeling of like the flu. You know what I mean? So I had it myself, but I'm feeling a lot better now. But then you got to go play. Like, no one cares. You know what I'm saying? You know, like they didn't care. We don't care. Like at the end of the day, you got to go do a job. But we fell short. So I mean, I even credit my team, even somewhat of myself, for just even going out there and still playing. You know what I mean? We don't quit. We don't shy away. We still went out there and we battled. So even if we can do it again, I would do it again. I don't care. I'll play with one leg. I don't really mind. You know what I mean? So.
Did you feel like, guys having the flu, did that affect the game plan at all or the way that you guys were able to play?
I don't think it affected the game plan. I feel like right when I got out there, I felt fine. I don't really notice any like of my sickness kind of messing with me. But I feel like it does like slow you down because it does kind of make you tired in a sense. Because like some of those drives, I came out to feel like really tired, more than usual. It could have been the cold. I don't know. It's a lot of things that could have happened, man. At the end of the day, we lost. I don't know.
CJ, as far as the Heisman goes and being a finalist, was there a moment this year where you felt like it was like a real possibility, like a certain game or a certain like stretch of the year where you like thought like this could happen for me?
Yeah. I didn't really try to focus on it, but I mean, Chris and Garrett and Jackson always kind of like make fun of it. Well, not make fun of it, but they always try to remind me and try to just be good dudes and try to remind me like, okay, bro, you killing it. Like, and I appreciate that because I'm hard on myself. Even like after the Michigan State game, I wanted like plays back. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was like some of those last games. Like I feel like really after the bye week, I feel like I was like, okay, I might be able to do this. You know what I mean? And of course, I don't try to look at that stuff. I think it's kind of a distraction if you ask me, but. Of course, it's like really cool because my whole life I dreamed of things like this, and just have the opportunity is just crazy to me. Like I'm still like kind of like shocked, and I'm just blessed, man. I don't know, it's crazy.
Go ahead, one last question.
I want to ask
Start
about,
and end it, bookend Dave Biddle.
Thank you very much. I just want to ask about Kyle McCord. It seems like you guys have a very close relationship. Is that accurate? And if you could just elaborate on that a little bit. And what are your thoughts about Kyle McCord as a quarterback?
Yeah, Kyle's my little bro, man. I love Kyle. He's a hilarious dude. He's hilarious, man. I don't know, he's like a little sarcastic guy, but he's funny as heck, and I love him, man. He's a hard worker. One of the hardest working dudes I've been around. He pushes me every day. I don't know. He's a smart guy. He knows a lot about the game. He plays with the great amount of confidence, and that's what I try to just tell him is like whenever you're out there, bro, like just let it fly, let it rip. Like who cares? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, people are gonna talk about you good or bad. So I just try to let him know that and try to have him lean on me, being his big brother. I mean, he's gonna be a great quarterback one day, and it's just his attitude about the game. He approaches everything the right way. He comes from a great family, so they help him out. I'm assuming with his mindset and things like that. And I'm excited for his future, and I think he'll be a great quarterback.
CJ, thank you.
Thank you, guys.